For the first example, and one that we're going to use through the rest of this session, let's take the case of a pharmaceutical drug that has invented a product that combats hair loss. And let's assume that they want to launch it in the North American market. The drug has two main benefits. The key benefit is that it actually prevents hair loss for men as long as customers continue to use the product. In addition, it has an additional benefit for some patients, for a limited number of patients, whereby it actually also causes visible hair regrowth. Okay? However, as a drawback, it has some side effects, some of which can be actually serious. Only a very, very small proportion of all end consumers will be affected by this side effect, but the side effect is completely reversible if customers end or finish taking the product. So it's not a major life-threatening side effect, but nevertheless one that is considerable. So now let's go with the first of the 6 M's from the framework that I have described, the mission. Let's pause for a moment. What should be the objectives of the communication campaign for the launching of that new drug? Let's try to think and list them one by one. First of all, you might want the customers to actually be aware of the new product, right? That will be the first objective. Are there other objectives that you can think about? Of course. You also want to make sure to incite or excite those customers about actually starting a visit to the doctors to be able to talk about this new product. Remember that after all, it is a prescription drug. Besides these two critical objectives, you want to make sure that primary physicians actually learn about the product, right? You don't want just your customers finding out about it, you also need doctors. But as it turns out, in North America, you don't just need general practitioners to find out about the new drugs, you also want the specialists to find out about it. Let's say dermatologists. You want the derma doctors to find out about it, especially because in many instances, insurance do not cover you directly for a visit to a dermatologist. Sometimes you need to go first through a primary care physician, of which there are something like 125,000 in the US market. Can you think of other objectives besides these 4? Customers to find out, get to go to the doctor, physicians to find out about it, and dermatologists to find out about it? Yes, of course. What you care about is that the doctors actually prescribe the new medicine. That's another important objective. And in addition, you want patients to actually stick to the treatment. Oftentimes, patients don't do that, which is like signing up for the gym, not going and then pretending that the gym is not working for you. Can you think of more objectives that you need to accomplish with the communication campaign? Certainly. You want to make sure that customers actually get to refill their prescriptions time and time again, because the hair loss fight, it's only good for as long as they continue to take their pills. Can you think of more objectives? Certainly, but we already have plenty enough to do with these 7 right here. So let's see how might we think about it. But you don't just want to think about all the objectives that you need to accomplish. In addition, you need to think about who is the target. Who is the actual target of our communication campaign? Let's pause for a second. Who would you think it is the best target for a drug that fights hair loss? The end user himself? This drug in particular is made for men. Should the target be their wives or their girlfriends? Or should the target find out through the doctors themselves, let's say the dermatologist, or even the primary care physicians? Should they actually be hairdressers? Why not, right? There is a lot of capillarity of them throughout the United States, and you can certainly run an effective communication campaign, perhaps by relying on hairdressers. At least you will have a very large reach of your campaign. Should it be another person, the target of the communication campaign? Friends, perhaps? Other colleagues? As you see, there are many possibilities for defining who the actual target of the communication campaign should be. We need to get a little bit more specific. Let's assume that you have weighted the pros and cons and you have decided that it's better to communicate to the end users themselves. Men, right? But what kind of men? Who are the best target segment for this particular drug? Should I segment by demographics? For example, young, mature, and older men? If you recall from week 1, that is the most very basic form of segmentation. The more sophisticated one is actually by psychographics. For example, let's assume that you want to target those that particularly care about their looks and aesthetics. How will I go find them? Will it be people that live in urban areas and go to gyms? Are these more likely to become my customers? Or people that exercise regularly, right? There are many possibilities, and that's why the more specific we get, the better chance we have that the communication campaign actually works. There are certainly more possibilities. Who is this drug for? For example, you might think, well, perhaps it's better to think about not age, not caring about aesthetics, but rather by the stage of their hair loss condition. To evaluate this, let's have a look at the following picture. Who do you think should actually be the target for this drug? Which one of these three bruises? As you can see, a proper segmentation is key to be able to design the appropriate communication campaign. Remember, this drug's main benefit is hair loss prevention. Clearly, it will suit much better Bruce at his younger age than at his later stage, when the drug will be a lot less beneficial for him, right?